Guys, he's coming. Showtime, folks. So, Nosferatu 2024 is one that I've been looking forward to since I saw the teaser trailer. Now, I'm not a big fan of the vampire subgenre. It's just a fact of the matter. I think I've said it before in previous videos. I'm also not a fan of, period pieces. More or less, I used to think it was just like anything that had to do with like the royal family or anything like that just didn't draw my attention. But now I've come to realize it's just period pieces in general. I kind of have a hard time enjoying them to no fault of their own. It's just one of those things I don't normally go out to look for. However, all that being said, I was looking forward to Nosferatu. What really drew my attention was the cast, and that's something that we're going to get into. But looking at the trailer for the film, and then looking at the cast that was going to be involved, I was optimistic that Nosferatu 2024 was going to be one of my favorites of the year, hopefully. So getting into the plot of Nosferatu, Nosferatu 2024 follows Lily Rose Depp's character, primarily as a girl who summoned Nosferatu, or as he's known in the film to be Count Orlok, who has summoned him as a young girl and just invited his presence into her soul to become as one. And it follows her through the consequences of having summoned Nosferatu. This is a spoiler-free review, but I will be getting into what I enjoyed and didn't really enjoy about this film when it comes to this. Just to keep the plot vague, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. However, I do want to say that I am going to review this movie in a vacuum, so I will not be talking about source material that came before it or any other kind of vampire films that have come before it. I'm just looking at Nosferatu 2024 in a vacuum. Now, something I do have to say I enjoyed about this film, getting into the pros of it, is the cast. It was never a doubt for me. It was something I was looking forward to. Willem Dafoe is somebody that I've always respected as an actor. But the surprise standout for me was Nicholas Hoult, because the first whole hour of this movie almost is Nicholas Hoult's character kind of carrying the movie on his own. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is also in this movie, and he does a very good job of playing this family member that's trying to support the family while they're going through this situation of Nicholas Hoult having to leave Lily Rose Depp's character for work reasons. You also have to give it to Bill Skarsgård, who is unrecognizable as Count Orlok. I didn't even know it was him until I sat down to do the video. Honestly, the video review, I didn't even know. So he did an excellent job of portraying the Count. And Willem Dafoe, I mean, I enjoy him as an actor. It probably just hits the nostalgia button for me just because he was my Green Goblin when I was a kid, and then seeing him come back to the MCU as the Green Goblin, and then seeing him in everything that he's been in after the fact. It's something I always enjoy. I see Willem Dafoe and I'm usually intrigued in the project that he's taking part in. And then just going into whose performances are solid is Lily Rose Depp. Now there's a couple of sequences in this movie where she really gets out there and she does a phenomenal job of playing this person that is possessed with the Count's curse, with somebody who has summoned this presence when she was younger and now is dealing with the consequences. There are sequences in this film where Lily Rose Depp has to really get out there without overacting the situation. And I will say, she does a really, really good job. Her and Nicholas Hoult together was a very interesting surprise for me, and I think that kind of blended well. And that's one of the main pros I have with this film, is just the performances are outstanding. Another pro I do have with this film is the landscape. I really think the landscapes and the isolated dread kind of scenery that Robert Eggers decided to use for this film is something that I really enjoyed. There's a lot of these like stark kind of snowed in set pieces that are used and really, really play into the kind of foreboding sense that Count Orlok is coming. And it's something that I really enjoyed. It almost feels kind of like a stage performance. These set pieces are done in such a way that the environment itself is a character, and it's something that I really enjoy. And just to touch on that and getting into another pro is the writing. I really think that they leaned when it came to making this film, they leaned into really making this a performance, a stage performance. This is cinematic. This is something that if you're interested in vampires, you're interested in the story of Nosferatu, this is something I recommend watching in the theaters for sure, because this is a cinematic experience like very few others, okay? Because I think there's something to be said about streaming it in the comfort of your home and the silence that no phones, well, ideally no phones, anything like that. But when you go to the theaters and it's this dark environment and it's just dead silent and you're listening to the sound design of this movie, you're witnessing the snowy kind of set piece of just silence and just watching the way that Robert Eggers wanted this film to be observed, I really enjoyed it in that regard. So I think it's something that should be seen in theaters if you're interested in the vampire subgenre. Now, getting into a little bit of the cons, and this is more of a personal thing than anything else, so take that with a grain of salt. There are portions of the film that I didn't catch as much as I would have liked. You know, a lot of the dialogue, not a period piece kind of guy, especially with deeper accents. It's like, I always make this aside, but I totally understand. Personally, I like Western movies. I can see why some people don't like Westerns because of certain accents or whatnot. They can't pick up what they're saying, and characters are saying anything, right? With this one, there are heavy accents involved, and they're speaking very quickly, and sometimes they're speaking at a very low volume. So if you're not really listening very, very carefully, there's a chance that you will not catch what is going on when it comes to the dialogue, and you'll just have to kind of revisit it. And it's something that I don't necessarily mind, but it's something that should be noted. I think some people would agree that the volume was a little low in some of the dialogue, and the accents make it difficult. And believe me, I understand Nosferatu isn't exactly an American tale or anything like that. This is just a Texan in me speaking on it, but it's something I do have to say is a con for me. And it's something that could be remedied with subtitles whenever it comes to streaming inevitably, or if you buy it on physical media, which you should. But in the theater, it does kind of get to a point where, like, what was that? I didn't quite get that, especially when it comes to Nosferatu's dialogue. So that's something I did have to say was a con. And I should also just note that this is a vampire movie, so you should know that it deals with heavy themes, kind of adult themes to begin with. There's a lot of adult themes when it comes to this movie. It isn't something exactly that you want to go watch with your family. This is definitely a date night movie, or one for people that are just into horror in general, vampires in general. There's like a sexual kind of tone going on too when it comes to Nosferatu and his connection to Lily Rose Depp's character, and there are sequences of nudity. It's just things that should be noted. These aren't cons, this is just things that should be noted with the film. I don't think that a couple of the scenes were necessary as far as when it comes to nudity or whatever, but it doesn't take away or add to the film in any way for me. It was there and it should be noted. But getting into my score of Nosferatu, this was one of my more anticipated movies of the year, especially in a year of film that's been, at least when it comes to the theater viewing experience, has been kind of weak, at least in my opinion. Nosferatu is I would say is a front runner, at least for being one of the best of the year for sure. I do think it depends primarily on if you're a vampire subgenre fan. If you're a horror fan in general, Nosferatu, it's got heavy themes in it. It's got beautiful set pieces. It has great performances from its cast, and it's a beautiful movie to watch in theaters. I won't speak on vampire movies that have come before it as it pertains to this one, but if you're not into that kind of like, you know, period piece drama of this vampire coming after this girl, you're not gonna like this movie. It's long, and although it's enjoyable, if you're not into the subgenre of vampires or horror, it's not gonna be something that you wanna watch. But getting into my score of this film, Nosferatu 2024 would have to be a 3.5 out of 5, a 4 on a very, very good day for good old Chuco's Powerhouse Cinema. I really enjoyed it. I wanna watch it again. I will be watching it again probably, just to kind of pick up on some of the things I missed. It is definitely not towards the bottom of the year in any way. I don't want to say I was disappointed, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised by anything at all. I mean, I went in there excited about the cast, and I got a good cast. I went in there excited about what Robert Eggers was gonna do with the film, and I got something that I enjoyed from him. Now, would I say that I'm gonna call this my new favorite vampire movie of all time? Probably not. The Lost Boys. But this is more of a traditional approach to the vampire subgenre. This isn't anything like The Lost Boys at all. So keep that in mind when you go check it out. I definitely would recommend watching it in theaters. This is something worth your time. This is something worth your money. If you're into vampire stuff. If you're not, don't. Why would you do that to yourself if you're not into vampires? If you know it's a vampire movie and you don't like vampires, why would you do that? But hey, who am I to tell you? You go do what you want. I'm just putting it out there. But guys, what did you think of Nosferatu 2024? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Have you even had a chance to see it yet? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate if you like and share this video, or consider subscribing to good old Chuco. It helps me continue to make these videos. Be looking out for future videos. I'm going to try to do the best of the year and the most disappointing of this year. In a year that was kind of flip-floppy with movies, I'm kind of looking forward to sitting down and seeing what I saw and may not have reviewed, because I know there's a few that I saw and didn't review that have made my list. But guys, always remember, if a vampire is after you, the best way to stop it is to